All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating idea in personal finance. The concept that when it comes to money, what's going on in your head is way more important than what's on your spreadsheet. We're talking about the psychology of money.
So here's the central question, right? It's this wild paradox we see all the time. You have financial geniuses, people with PhDs, who just completely flame out. And then you have everyday people with totally normal jobs who somehow build incredible fortunes. So what is going on here?
I mean, just picture this classic story. On one side, you've got a high-flying executive. You know the type. Top-tier education, makes millions a year, has the mansion, the luxury cars, and ends up totally broke. But on the other hand, you have a janitor. Never made a huge salary, but just quietly, consistently saved and invested for a little bit of money for decades. And guess what? He retires a multimillionaire. The difference wasn't smarts or income, it was something else entirely.
And that right there brings us to our first huge idea. Building wealth is actually a soft skill. It's not about the math you know, it's all about how you act. We've kind of been taught to think about money completely backward.
We're made to believe that if we just learn the right formulas, memorize all the jargon, and crack some secret code, then bam, financial success is a done deal. But come on, if that were actually true, every mathematician on the planet would be a billionaire, right?
And this is where the perspective just totally flips. The real assets aren't your IQ points. They're things like patience, a little bit of humility, and your ability to keep your own fear and greed in check. It's a soft skill. It's about how you manage your own emotions, especially when the world gets a little crazy. Okay, so let's move on to our second key idea. And this one might completely change how you look at the world around you. It's all about a really important difference we tend to miss. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. This is just our automatic reaction, isn't it? We see the flashy car, the designer watch, the giant house, and our brain just screams, wow, they must be absolutely loaded. But what we're actually seeing isn't wealth. It's spending. It's just the evidence that they spent a ton of money.
So here's the thing. Real wealth is quiet. It's invisible. It's the money that didn't get spent on a fancy car. It's the income that wasn't turned into a status symbol, but was tucked away, saved, and invested instead. See, wealth isn't about showing other people how much you have, it's about buying your own freedom and options for the future.
Let me paint a quick picture for you here. Think of all the money you earn like a big, powerful river. And that river is constantly flowing into a reservoir, which is your potential wealth. The bigger the river, the faster that reservoir should fill up, right? But here's the problem. Every single time you spend money just to keep up with appearances, you're basically poking a hole in your reservoir. And it doesn't matter how big your income is, how big that river is, if the water is just constantly leaking out through 100 little holes of trying to impress people. Wealth is what stays in the reservoir.
And this constant pressure to spend and to show off leads us straight to one of the biggest psychological traps in all of finance, knowing what enough is and learning how to get the goalpost to stop moving.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You set a goal, you work hard, you finally hit it, and for like a second, you feel amazing. But then, you look over your shoulder, you see someone else who has more, and suddenly, your finish line has just been pushed another 10 miles down the road. It's a race you can literally never win.
And playing this game is so incredibly dangerous. Social comparison is the engine that keeps that goalpost moving. It creates this constant, nagging feeling that you're falling behind, which then pushes you to take bigger, dumber risks just to try and catch up. The simple desire for more has probably destroyed more wealth than any bad investment ever could.
So if the goal isn't just to get more, then what is it? Well, that brings us to our final and maybe the most practical idea of all. It's about surviving the storms that are guaranteed to come by building yourself a margin of safety. Let's be real. Nobody can predict the future. Not the stock market, not the economy, not your own career. It's all full of surprises. So if you build a financial plan that depends on everything going perfectly, you're pretty much planning to fail.
So, what's the move? Think of your financial life like you're the captain of a ship about to cross the ocean. You wouldn't just pack enough fuel and food to get there if the weather is perfect, would you? Of course not. You'd pack extra for the storms you know are coming. That margin of safety, things like having cash saved up, having a flexible budget, not being buried in debt, that's your extra fuel. It's what lets you ride out the storms without panicking and abandoning the whole ship.
And that's really what it all boils down to. The ultimate secret isn't being the smartest person in the room or picking the absolute best investment. It's about just staying in the game long enough for compounding to work its incredible magic.
Survival is the foundation of all long-term success.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In a world that is constantly screaming at you for more, just taking the time to actually define what enough means for you, enough to feel secure, enough to be happy, enough to be free, well, that might just be the most important financial decision you ever make.